How was Creamfield?
Absolutely amazing. Shout out to Danny. Oh, what a night. What a day. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah? I
Oh,
was the
yeah.
Blackpool fan that you tormented the entire night.
Oh, let's just say he must have had a horrible day because I just kept bumping into him every now and again. And literally, he'd never spot me, but I could spot him from a mile away. So all of a sudden, all he heard was, Blackpool get battered everywhere they go. And he's like, oh my God, stop it.
To be fair, he did ask for it wearing a bright orange shirt, so
Yeah, I know.
I
I
thought
know.
I thought you'd gone with him. Like I was just like
No,
adding
no,
a bit
no.
of
There was two
spice
fans.
on it.
That one, the one where you saw with that photo was just a random guy from Fleetwood. And literally, the other guy on the video was just a random guy I spotted. So there was actually two of them there.
So you weren't with any of them?
No, no, we're at no. So
Right,
as soon as
right, great.
a random stranger, then I'm like, Blackpool get battered.
I bet you're loved in Blackpool, aren't you? Well, today we're joined by Neil. Neil, how are you doing?
I'm all right, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. So Neil's been sending voice notes in for what, about a year or something now. So yeah, I was going to say how long have you been supporting North End, but I'm not sure if you want to answer that.
No, well, 45 years now. So, uh, Grandad took me on when I was about five. It's about 1980, and then suffered for the last 45 years, really, with the odd occasional like up and down. But yeah, 45 years.
But what if you don't look old enough for 45
No,
years? I'm
I
not
I
know,
having
know,
that.
mate.
I
I
was
know, I
thinking that.
I'm not
What?
having that. I am not having that. Nathan, how's the hoovering been this weekend? I know you said you had a lot of hoovering to do.
No, no, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. Mrs. is cracking on now, but literally got in half hour ago. But like I said, I got a lot to do. I've got a little girl on the way, so a lot of work to do. Literally, my lad's off with my mum this week. Um, he's away in the Lake District, and literally every day after work, we've got like furniture to build, walls to sort. Like it's just non-stop. So it's all right saying like, my son's not here, but we're just working after work as well, so it's non-stop. Not going to get a break. So yeah.
Yeah. You went to North End Saturday though, didn't you? You went to the Labour Club.
Yeah, yeah, it was great. Went on with my dad and my granddad. Similar to Neil, my dad and my granddad took me on when I was like five, and I've been a fan ever since. Um, but yeah, it was good. It's my first home game of the season. Atmosphere were great. Townend were full. Yeah, buzzing. Labour Club were busy as well, but yeah, buzzing.
Yeah. Let's try and put the North End talk off for as long as we can. I'm feeling a bit tired today.
That
Neil, so you were at Wembley, where was it Saturday you was at Wembley or Sunday?
Yeah,
Saturday.
Saturday. It was a bit of a nightmare, really, because I'd gone to watch Coldplay, so I booked it with these big gigs, booked it like 18 months ago, not really thinking, about football. One for the family. My son's off to uni in well next month, so we booked like a last thing for us all to do together. And then when it kind of like dawned on me, it was a Saturday in August and there'd be a fixture. I was like, oh, dreading like the football computer throwing up the fixture, hoping for
Hmm.
like Portsmouth away or something like that. And I don't know if you guys know, but my youngest lad's an Ipswich fan. Took his granddad's team. It's a long story, but he took his granddad's team. And then when he threw that one out, it was like for us, that's the biggest game of the season,
Yeah.
really. So all three of us were absolutely gutted that we're missing Ipswich and having to go to watch Coldplay, which for us is a good choice to have. But yes, we watched it in the back of the car in Wembley car park. So yeah, although I did nip out for half an hour to take my wife around the shops. But so yeah, so one of my sons was pretty disappointed on Saturday night, but two of us were quite happy. So it was all good.
I bet that worked out perfectly. What was Coldplay like? Was it good?
Really good. Yeah, I've seen them a few times before. My wife loves them. So, but yeah, no, they were really good. And we're right at the front. I don't know how we ended up getting right at the front, but we're right at the front. So yeah, no, it was really good. Yeah, really good.
Oh, quality, quality. But is he like a big Ipswich fan?
Yeah, he has been for years. To be fair, so his granddad, Ipswich fan, lives down there. So got family that live down there, and my eldest lad, he likes cricket, so his granddad's always taken him to watch cricket, Test cricket or whatever. And my youngest son likes football, so he took him to start watching Ipswich. So I took both boys on, to Preston, and my youngest lad, he still comes with. He's coming on Tuesday night to watch Wrexham, and as his brother's now disappearing off to uni, I'm dragging him along. I've told him he's coming now this year, whether he likes it or not. And he likes watching Preston anyway. So, but yeah, so he's always been an Ipswich fan for years, really. So he's been living the dream for the last few years. I was quite happy when they were back in League One, but he's been living the dream. But it's nice now that we're both in in the same division, especially as we're above them as well. So all good.
Yeah, definitely. You would have thought that, wouldn't we, at the start of the season? What are we?
Oh,
They're
100%.
4 points above Ipswich.
Yeah.
Oh, you've
I
just
think they're
reminded me,
about
Neil.
15th or something, aren't they?
Yeah,
Same
yeah,
points as
yeah.
Wrexham
They've
or
not
something?
won, have they? They've not won.
No, they
have
haven't yet. No.
No, I was
I thought
talking to
I
a few of the
tempted
fans.
fake.
Yeah, when I went
Pardon?
to get my ticket, I was speaking to a few of the fans when I went to get my ticket, and lovely people. Like some of the away fans you don't want to speak to, but it was like walking around, like, do you know where that mural on the town end is? It was kind of like walking around that bit as well, and quite a lot of them. Obviously they took we're at 4.5. They took.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was quite a lot of them, and yeah, they were all lovely people. So speaking to them, and they were just saying like, for the amount of money we've spent, we expect to come here today, like no offense, and do well. So a massive shock, the result. So I'm sure we'll get onto it, but yeah.
Yeah, I was yesterday. I was because I obviously went to go and watch wrestling in London. I was at Rugby Services, seen a guy with an Ipswich shirt on. I looked at him. I thought, "You're so lucky that I'm not Critch right now." Anyway, so I just politely sort of said, "Oh, bad back yesterday, weren't it?" He's like, "Who'd you support?" I said, "Preston." He's like, "Oh no." He went, "What are you doing down here?" As if say like you're not expecting to bump into a Preston fan, are you, at Rugby Services? So anyway, we're having like a conversation. Guy walks past him. Yeah, though, obviously a Norwich fan. He was like, "I said, bad day for you, this, isn't it? Bad day." Could have been worse if Critch would have bumped into him at Rugby Service. Oh, it reminded me, Neil. I messaged you, didn't I? Think like early hours this morning saying, let me tell you the story of walking around the O2 Arena, right? So bear in mind, so last night, right, I'm at the O2 Arena, okay? And the water, right? So this is how dear it is. For a pint, I obviously weren't drinking, but a pint, 10 quid, bud. Yeah, 10 quid. I thought I'll get a slice of pizza and some water. Slice of pizza, 18 quid. They were big pieces, but 18, I thought, no, there's no chance. Water was 5.50. So I got a bottle of water and I thought, 5.50 for this. I've had my pants down here. So anyway, I'm walking past water fountain. So I see a water fountain and I thought, could have just used that. So I thought, right, I'm keeping hold of this cup because it was like a 5-hour show. So anyway, so years ago, I went to New Orleans, right? I got mates with a Brentford fan. Not seen him in years. So I'm walking to the water fountain to fill my water up before the main event. And he always used to take the mick out of me because I'm a bit like cheap or whatever, right? So I'm walking and I just hear, Dan! I was like, Sean, how you doing? And he like couldn't believe it. You're not expecting to see me walking around the arena. He's like, how'd you get here? I said, van. Van? I said, yeah, van. He went, where is it? I said, it's outside. He's like, it's outside? I said, yeah. He went, but you're drinking, pointed at me empty cup. I said, no. I said, filling my cup up at water fountain. He went, your van's outside and you're filling your cup. And shook his head. He couldn't get over the fact that he'd seen me with his water. But yeah. But yes, Sean, if you're listening, £5.50 a bottle. Absolute rip-off in London.
Ridiculous.
But yeah, are you paying that, either of you lot? £5.50. I was like,
no.
oh.
That's Southerners for you. I went to see Post Malone last year at the MEN, or whatever it's called now, and it was free. I was right at the front, and they were just giving out water for free because when you're at the barrier, you just get it given to you in cups. And even when I went in the corner, I was like, "Can I have a bottle of water?" It was like £2, something like that. I know it's
Did it
London,
at
it's
Wembley.
Manchester. Yeah.
Did it at Wembley this weekend.
Yeah.
Free water, giving free cups of water out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got ripped
That's
off,
it.
Dan. They knew you were a Northerner.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what they
so
were.
we'll try it here.
I didn't buy
18
that
quid for
pizza
a
though.
pizza.
18 quid, not
18
a
quid.
chance, not a chance. Luckily, I'd gone to Sainsbury's local on the way in and I'd got a packet sandwich and put it in my pocket and did get in with that actually. But anyway, we better talk about the game. Preston won Ipswich. And I think the first thing is, I'll go to you, Nathan, because you was there. The referee, how bad was Matt Donoghue on Saturday?
Yeah. Shocking. And listen, I'm one to not kind of jump on the bandwagon. When everyone's having a go at refs, I'll kind of be a bit more fair about it and think, well, no, actually, but no, it was shocking. Like the amount of times where they hardly touched him, and I'm not just saying that, they generally bought fouls, and it was evident last 5 minutes, I think it was 10 minutes. I'm sure it was Smodix went over, tried to buy a foul, and he said no. It just got to the point where it was just like they were taking the mick with it. The amount of fouls that they had, but I've watched the penalty back and I think that was soft, to be honest with you. So it's kind of like,
I thought
off
the
and
same
off,
thing.
But yeah, I've seen it back from a different angle. It's not the best, but I don't think it was the pen. So does it average out? I don't know, but yeah, very, very soft.
Neil, did you think it was a pen?
When I saw it, I didn't. But then whenever it's a penalty, I always look at the players' reactions, and they
Yeah.
didn't really complain about it. And I think it was one of those like clumsy ones where I mean, he's
Yeah,
gone
that's
down a
what I
little bit
thought,
easy,
yeah.
hasn't he?
Mm.
But he's touched him. He's almost pulled him. But the players didn't really complain, and I always feel like that's a real good. I remember, you remember last season Bristol City when the guy handballed it, and our players
Yeah.
went mad, didn't they? And that was at the opposite end, and you just knew straight away he'd handled it. But they didn't really complain, so I thought, well, if they're not complaining, so it's one of those. I thought it was soft when I saw it, but they didn't complain. We've had them against us, haven't we? So I take it all day.
Oh, yeah, we had
Exactly.
loads against us last season.
Yeah.
Loads of dodgy decisions.
What did you think, Critch, when you were watching the extended highlights?
Obviously, I've only seen the highlights. I thought it was a pen. I just thought it was really clumsy. But don't get me wrong, it goes down really easy. It goes down as if it was like a really hard challenge. But I mean,
You got to
for me,
take
it
it, haven't you?
was a penalty. It was. If it was given against us, I probably might be saying different. But yeah, I'm going to say pen.
Yeah, it was one of them when it, like we said, live. I just thought there was no argument about it. Like I said, Neil, the players didn't argue, and you just thought. And then when I was watching the highlights at night, like Critch were doing, I was like a bit soft, that weren't it? Because if you looked at Jacob Greaves, their defender, who, by the way, Jacob Greaves again against North, and I thought was unbelievable. He's got to be one of the best defenders in the league. He was fuming about it, so it zoomed in on him, and he was like going mad about it. And he was obviously the one who fouled him, I think. So yeah, but hey, look. After last season, they say, "Oh, I said this last. These things even themselves out. So maybe it's just not over the course of the season. Maybe we're getting a bit of the rub of the green this season." But yeah, the referee. It wasn't like there was just one major decision. It was just every little decision. He was fussy, weren't he, with his yellow cards, and there was a moment he wouldn't. Yeah, go on.
No, I was going to say there was one where I'm sure a player got booked for something petty. I can't remember what it was now, like a throw-in or whatever it was, taking too long. It was just pathetic. But on Town and everyone around me, they're all fuming. You know what Town is like when he gets going, and they were fuming. There were people like up and screaming. Obviously, Darren's not here today, but I'm sure he'll confirm it. Absolutely fuming, like every single time. So, like, and when they walked off as well, even though we won, fans still booed the ref off. Even though they won, like I stayed to clap them off.
That's always a sign of a bad ref. If
Yeah, exactly.
And they still boo the ref, then for me, that's a bad ref for having so many fans against you. And you're feeling good that you've won, but you still complain with the ref. That's a sign of a bad ref.
Exactly. Yeah, it was shocking. It was, and I'm like I say, I'm one to usually defend them to kind of see it from both sides, but they were just so soft. It just felt like they were a Prem team and they were used to the Prem rules or whatever type of mentality, and they come down to the Championship, they wasn't ready for the physicalness, and they were just throwing themselves on the floor. And the thing is, a couple of times we tried to get the same foul and we didn't get it. It was very biased, but like I said, we got the pen, which I didn't think were a pen. And I've watched the highlights as well, and it looks like he leaves his leg in, Millie. When you watch it back, I watched it on I think it was Channel 5 highlights, I'm not sure, but yeah, and it even zoomed it in and slowed it down as well. And it looks like he leaves his leg in, but what's he doing on the floor trying to make a challenge? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just a stupid challenge in it as a centre half. So yeah, one of them.
Nathan, what was the atmosphere like on the town? It sounded loud. It was loud, and then I feel like obviously with the way the performance went, where it was just backs against the wall, rearguard action, you're not going to get like the fans kept with them, but it felt like at full time it wasn't as celebrated as and I feel like it should have been as celebrated as if not more than the Leicester one, because this was really grinding a result out. But it didn't feel like it was. It felt like we'd just beat a mid-table team, and it was we've won, clap the players off instead of everyone buzzing. I don't know if you felt like being on there.
Yeah, a bit. Yeah, I mean the players obviously walked around and clapped off, but yeah, if a lot of the fans want to get off, but it was a bit like that. I think it was just a bit of shock, a bit of surprise that we actually held on, because obviously we got the goal quite early. I was very, very surprised that we held on for that long. And a few of the fans around me were saying you'd have took a point before the game. So the feeling was a bit like they're going to score. They brought on Akpom. Somebody said they'd got him for like 20 million quid. And I'm like, this is what we're up against. So if we'd have conceded one, as stupid as it sounds, you'd have took it before the game. But yeah, it was just a mixture of nervousness, excitement, and everything. It was a bit of a weird one, really. But the crowd were really good at top of the town, and like they kept with him, and that's what I noticed in the Leicester game as well. The difference from last season to this season is when we're 1-1 or 1-0 or whatever, the crowd's more behind them. The crowd aren't as nervous. The amount of draws we had last season, it was like we was expecting it. When this season, the way we started, the crowd's more behind him. There was a time when Thierry Small played a cross, it went up behind the goal, but still clapping him, still being positive, not just silence. We're still getting behind everything. And it's little things like that. For me, it backs the team. Like I said last week, we've got to be that 12th man, and yeah, they're excellent.
It's amazing what giving someone a summer can do.
Yeah.
But yeah, touching on that, Nathan, Neil, do we think this is a new North End, or have we just got lucky? We're only 3 games in. Are we getting a bit carried away? Or
Yeah,
it's only early, and it's so early.
I don't think you can really tell until you're like 10 games in. I think 10 games in gives you a real good, idea of where we're at. I definitely think from what I've seen, I think we're a lot more organised. I mean, I think like the ref, I'm not bothered when the refs start giving silly fouls away against us because it allows us to get organised. And I think when you're playing a team like Ipswich, they're a really good. I mean, I watch them quite a bit because of my lad, and they're a really good passing side. And yeah, actually stopping the game, stop starting it breaks their rhythm up and it allows us to get back and kind of get players behind the ball. So one for 1-0 up, I'm actually quite happy for that. I don't really like the yellow cards, but I think it almost kind of helps us a little bit. But
yeah,
I don't know. It's one of those. I mean, I suppose kind of I think about like the Leeds game last year. If I think about this one and compare it to like the Leeds game last year where we gave that goal away in the end, I think the difference I think this year is there's a togetherness. I think we've got 11 players and the substitutes that we've got on that want to play for the team. I think last year we all know there were certain players in that team that didn't want to be there and didn't want to play. So I think there's a real good spirit in the team. I definitely think our bench is a little bit better. I think he made the same substitutions he did the week before, bringing in Small, bringing in Vujicic, bringing in Dodson to give those players a rest. So I think being able to bring quality players into those positions that don't make us any weaker, I think really kind of helps us. I do think it's early days. I'm not going to get too excited, but I definitely think there's more of a togetherness. And I think that with the crowd as well, you mentioned about the crowd last season, they'd be straight on Reese's back, straight on Whiteman's back, not having that negativity from the crowd coming onto the pitch and knowing that the fans are behind them. I think really helps. So definitely I'll hold my hands up. It's definitely better than I thought we'd be. I mean, I thought we'd be lucky to get 4 points. But I wasn't really that concerned about funnily enough, I wasn't really concerned about the Leicester and the Ipswich game. It was more QPR and Portsmouth that I was more concerned about. I think Deepdale's a tough place to come. You've mentioned it before. I think we always do well against the teams that come at us and want to play against us. It's can we break teams like QPR down? Can we break teams down like Portsmouth down? So early days, yeah. I think get to the end of October and we'll know. But I'll hold my hands up. It definitely surprised me this season.
Yeah, we'll know more about it. We've got Portsmouth, Middlesbrough, Derby. I think after those 3, we'll know a little bit more because Portsmouth and Derby are teams that are tough away games, but the teams that I think North End fans will expect us to go and get something, not necessarily get beat. And Portsmouth Saturday is going to be a tough game. But we're saying there about the options off the bench. Window finishes a week today at the time of recording, 7 p.m. Do we need something else? We need a striker. Is there anything else that we need? Or everyone happy just to get a striker? Or is there any other positions?
A left side centre back. Maybe.
Good shout.
Yeah, defo. I agree. I think Hughes was not the obvious one, but I've been saying it all pre-season, is the age, time on the ball and everything. And it showed there was a point where somebody came behind him and got a shot away at the weekend. I think he's the obvious one. I think when Brady's there, he kind of strengthens him. But yeah, definitely less centre half. And it depends on what happens with Millie, doesn't it? There's rumours of bids for him and whatever, and it all depends what happens with him. Everyone's been saying we need a new striker. Yeah, well, I wouldn't take it, but you look at it, we got him for 2.5. It's been rumoured at 20. From a club point of view, if they can make profit, what an awful thing going to do.
How much of that can we get invested in our team?
Well,
That's
this is the question. Yeah, this is the question, but yeah, I don't know. I won't want to sell him. The form is him and everything, but you got to look at it. What's going to happen with the ban? There's all these things to consider. I don't think the club will sell. I think the club are confident on it, but yeah, I think another striker and we can be competitive just so it's not reliant upon Millie so much. But then we've got Jefferson coming back, who came on at the weekend. He looked bright. He was running around, whatever. So it all depends on what happens with Millie for me.
Yeah, Nathan, I thought Jefferson did all right, but I've heard so
Yeah, I
many
did.
mixed views. Neil, you don't think he did all right? See, I was watching his work rate and he was running after everything. He got the ball and messed up once, but I thought, and then I come off him, I seen if he's crap Jefferson, and I was like, huh?
Like a giraffe, I heard.
Yeah.
I mean, like for me, when I look at new players, I look at things like what's the first touch like? Can they use both feet? That kind of, and that's why I said from small, from watching him in the Chorley game and the Bolton game, even though the team didn't play particularly well, he can play either side. He can use both feet. His first touch is really good. So you kind of feel like he might not be playing brilliant straight away, but there's a player in there. He's got all the attributes. From what I've seen of Jebison, and I watched him at the Bolton game. His brain and his feet seem to be in a different body. I mean, they just seem to be on a completely different wavelength. But depends what his role is, right? Because if his job is just to get at people and create space for other players and do the dirty work, I'm fine with that. If we almost feel like we don't need him to score 10 goals a season, we just want him to get at players, I think he'll be fine because he is aggressive, he's really quick, he's fast, and all that kind of stuff. But I genuinely think if we want him to score goals, he's not going to beat that man. And I think, his track record kind of, probably alludes to that as well. But it all depends what his role is in the team. And if it's just to chase players down, to press the opposition high up the pitch, get the ball back, I think he'll be good at that. I just don't think he's a striker, which I think we definitely need someone who's going to, score goals for us, because we can't just rely on Millie. We don't score enough from midfield. We need someone else who's going to get us 10 goals a season, I think.
I think the problem that we've got is, so I was listening to that about Jebison. So now you're probably saying, so Bournemouth have loaned us Jebison. They're going to want him to get minutes this season, aren't they? He's young. They've spent a lot of money on him. So he's come here to play, okay? Osmajic, first name on the sheet, definitely up front anyway, okay? Smith has been really impressive. He's got to start. So we've got 3 strikers. So if we bring in another striker, they're going to want to play. If we're going to spend, people want a striker for, say, this record signing Critch been going on about all summer. If we're bringing a record signing striker in, he's going to play. But there's only 2 spaces to play. And I just think if we sign another striker, I'm just not sure how they're going to get into the team. Because is anyone dropping Osmajic or Smith? No. So what? We're just going to bring in a striker, a big marquee signing that's going to be willing to sit on the bench. I just think we've got 3 strikers, all who can start. I think it's going to be really tough to bring. I think we might get a young striker who might be all right playing, I don't know, 15, 20 games. I think a lot of people are thinking we're going to get this big marquee striker, but no one's going to want to come to sit on the bench because you're not getting in ahead of Osmajic and Smith at the moment. And Jebison is obviously going to Bournemouth are going to want him to play minutes. But yeah, that's the window. We'll be doing a window special next week, probably. Although I'll be glad when the thing closes, to be honest. It's been a long, long summer. But
quick one. We're actually linked with that
Everton
centre midfielder as well, aren't we?
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
Do we need a centre midfielder, do we think?
I don't think so.
I don't think we do now.
Yeah, the signing, the divine.
I think we've got enough.
Yeah. I don't think we need to, and I think it'd be the same for the striker. Like Dan just said, when we signed Divine, I said, where's he going to fit in? And then we've gone and signed Dobbin as well. I know he's a winger, but he's a similar type of player that can play in that 10 position. It's all well and good saying sign this player, spend this, blah blah blah, but where's he going to fit in? No player when you're selling the club is going to say, right, we can pay you X amount, but we've got Millie there scoring. It's going to be between you and him. No one's going to take that. So we all know the money's not really there. He said it himself. So we're not going to be doing that. I can't see it happening. He's going to be a young lad on loan who wants to come in. Like we've got a track record. Your Archer, your Cannon, blah blah blah. We've not got a record of spending big. Millie's our record signing. We're not going to break it again. Another 2 years down the line. I just can't see it happening myself.
The Dobbin one's a weird one for me. Where's he going to play? I don't understand where he's going to play. That's a strange one for me. But I think for I think Millie's getting banned. I'd be absolutely amazed if he doesn't get banned. And I think it's probably going to be a big ban. After the biting incident as well. So I think 8 to 12 games. I think, and then we're going to need a bit of time. So it's like I know you talk about like we've got 3 strikers. I don't see Jebison scoring a lot. I don't see Smith as scoring a lot, but again, I don't think that's his role to score. Again, it's just hold the ball up, bring others in, create space. Where do the goals come from? So you take him out for 12 games, we're going to struggle.
That's the
point.
problem we've got, because we
Yeah.
don't. This is why the FA doing the hearing in September is an absolute nightmare for us. Because if we're going to get someone on loan, we say, look, Osmaic is out for 12 games. That is what in the Championship, all these international breaks. You're probably looking at the start of December, and you're going to play. Whereas if we're going to say, oh, he might get banned, so you might get in the team. It's a bit of a nightmare, and they shouldn't really leave it till, I know there's whatever laws and stuff, but September is a nightmare for us.
I think this is where you hope Risdale, as a part of the FA board, whatever, he's kind of heard or knows whatever that's going to happen. But, a point was made in the group, and I said to myself, I spoke to my dad about it that weekend in the club. They're not just going to look at this incident. The FA look at everything. It's not an isolated incident. They look at the Bison situation. They look at his track record, with his bookings, the thing he was in the media for with his driving. It's everything together to take into consideration. It's not just this. And they're going to want to make an example of it because of the topic it is. It's been a topic that's been massively trying to be stamped out since I was a kid. I remember him wearing T-shirts, Lonergan wearing T-shirts and stuff. Yeah, they're going to want to make an example out of it, aren't they? And other fans have already kind of labelled him. So if they find him not guilty, they've got other fans' opinions, players' opinions, feelings to take into consideration as well. They're going to make a point about it, definitely. They're going to come down on him. I don't want it to happen. Me personally, I don't think he is guilty. But it's the bigger picture, and that's the FA, unfortunately.
Yeah, just need to, like we say, we need to be prepared, but it's just how do you go about it, sort of thing. It's just the timing of it is an absolute nightmare. But I'm sure we'll complain about that when it happens, although it hopefully won't happen. Let's wrap up the game on Saturday. Who was the best player on the pitch? Nathan, who do you think? Best player on the pitch? Not best player, but he was man of the match. Man of the match, by the way. Player of the match, my ass.
For me, Whiteman.
Whiteman?
I think being captain, I think it's a big season for him. It's a big game, especially after getting the win last week. It's a big game. He's a captain. He held the team together. It's between Whiteman and McCann. I think they're equally, in my eyes, I think McCann's massively overlooked.
Rated?
No, I think he's overlooked. I think he's everywhere.
Overlooked? No. My granddad is listening to this going, overlooked?
No, Whiteman for me. Whiteman, definitely. I think everyone's going to look at Millie for scoring, obviously, but Whiteman, being captain, he'd have held that together, especially playing defensive midfield. You don't get forward too much. He'd have held that back line together, and it was solid. Like I said, I was so scared all the way through the match, but it was solid. I was very surprised at the end. I was just in shock, to be honest.
McCann's one of them. If no one's had a good game, the sponsor's like, just give it to McCann, give it to Mantle. McCann will get off our back then. Yeah. But yeah, I thought McCann, he was all right. I thought he was all right. He didn't stand out.
Yeah.
He didn't stand out like a certain number 14 at the back. Jordan Story, I thought, was unbelievable. He gets his stick. As soon as he has a bad game, you see the people on social media coming out for him. Oh, you were all saying how great Story is. Story on Saturday was unbelievable, I thought.
Yeah, he's all right. I mean,
I
wouldn't say anything special. Nah, I think it helps when you're in the back line. Obviously, you've got with you, he's got Gibson there and Hughes. He had a good game.
He was the best of the three the other day. Best of the three. I'm not having that.
Whatever. We'll agree to disagree. But now Whiteman
he brought Hughes and Gibson up with him, I thought, the other day, because Hughes had a shaky opening half an hour, which he did recover from. Critch on the extended highlights. Who stood out for you?
Well, I can only tell you from what I've seen on the highlights. It looked like Small for me. He
had a good game. He had a good game.
In with them tackles, last-ditch tackles again, and he just, whenever he seems to make them, the crowd seem to just acknowledge it straight away, and then he's always got that attacking threat as well. It's for me, I can't believe he's ours. He's that good.
Yes, you won't have seen it the other day, so. You'll have seen it, Dave. He slid into a tackle at the Tom Finney stand. And like that corner of the Tom Finney stand is probably the quietest bit of the ground. And he's going, come on, like that. I'm thinking, mate.
Exactly. I love it.
But yeah, Neil, who stood out for you you watched an hour of it, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, I thought Gibson had a great game. And I think he's so good. I think sometimes it goes unnoticed. And for me, if a defender doesn't make a mistake, he's always had a good game. I thought he marshalled that back line really, really well. I think Paul, he has really surprised me. I thought pre-season, him and Story looked absolutely awful on the right-hand side to the point where, I remember him playing against, I know it's Liverpool, but that 16-year-old, that Nagoma, he absolutely ran him to pieces. And I really thought we were going to be in danger here. But Leicester and Ipswich. I thought Paul was brilliant. So if he'd not been taken off with 20 odd minutes to go, I probably would have said him. But I think like Rich, I think Small was unbelievable. I think defensively he's brilliant, and I love his attitude. Like he's proper up for it, isn't he? And I think going forward, and there's a couple of, like say, that one where he kind of slid in and he's jumping up and giving it all to the crowd, and I love that. I'd probably give it him. I thought he was defensively. Everyone's talking about him going forward in the Leicester game, but defensively he put a right old shift in on Saturday. I'd probably give it to him.
Yeah, he summed up the team, didn't he? Because the Leicester game showed how we can get forward, how dangerous we are on the counter with him right at the front of it. And then Saturday, completely different sort of performance. It showed that, yeah, he can, if we need to sit deep, he can do a job, which is, for a 21-year-old, showed quite a lot of maturity, really, because he's going to be someone who wants to bomb on forward. But, right, we'll wrap up the game there. We're done with the game there. Jordan Story, man of the match. Has our expectations changed? So we were set people 17th, 18th. I think if we went back to the preview show we did a month ago, I'm going to give my opinion. I think the expectation should have always been at least 14th. I think that has changed now. After what we've seen they can do against you, like, no, the Critch, we now know what this team is capable of against the Leicester and against an Ipswich. We know what they can do. There's no reason now.
Leicester won away at Charlton, didn't they? So that just shows the no mugs.
Yeah,
we beat a good Leicester team.
There's no reason why now we know what this team can do. We shouldn't be looking to finish top half of the team. I think we can do it. Everyone else still 17th, 18th, or am I getting carried away?
Yeah, I think a little bit carried away. I think I said it myself. I think we're going to have the odd results. It's just coincidence it's coming in a row for me. I think we're going to have good results like we've done every season, but then we're going to have a few games where you look at and thought we should have won, or we get beat or whatever. So I think it'll all average out. And that's the thing for me. It feels like, when's the bubble going to burst? We've had great starts on the season, and it's just momentum, isn't it? If we win away, it's going to be great, and especially on Tuesday night against Wrexham. But it just feels like when's it's going to burst. It feels like it's too good to be true enough, and you always feel like when's something going to happen. When we're going to concede, like on Saturday, you don't want to get too ahead of yourselves. You don't get your hopes up. It's no offend, but yeah, I still think it's mid-table. Mid-table for me.
Neil, have you changed or?
No, I think confidence plays a huge part in football. I think confidence gives you 10%, at least. If you go on that pitch thinking that you're not going to get beat and you're going to win, you see teams, they go on 6-7 game unbeaten runs, and that's not just because they're a good team. It's because they're confident. They don't think they're going to get beat. Doesn't even enter the head. So confidence must be sky high. But if I look at what we've got and what other people have got, I can't see us playing at this intensity when we start going Tuesday, Saturday, week in, week out. We pick up a few injuries, and I think we're going to start to struggle a little bit. I think a lot of it for me depends on how our pitch. I think last season our pitch in January was so bad, and we started picking up injuries. McCann was out. I think Mads got injured. They were all non-contact injuries on a really poor pitch. So hopefully they've sorted that out. If we can keep players fit, I think we'll do all right. I still think if he gets us 15th, I think he's done a great job. If he gets us 10th, I think he's done an unbelievable job. 15th. So yeah, no, that genuinely,
15th.
I think if he gets us 15th compared to where we were last season, I think he's done a really good job. If he gets us 10th, I think he's done a great job.
Yeah, good achievement in it, finishing 10th at this level at Preston North End. 15th, right? I'm telling you, we've got a better team than we did 2 years ago. We do, when we did finish 7th. It's a better team, I think.
I agree with that, but then I think everyone else has got better as well. So it all depends. If we can keep people fit, then that's the big thing for me. I just think the way we play now, it's all about intensity, and it's whether we can keep that intensity up. So a lot for me is how much work they've put into pre-season into these players to get them fit. And I thought about the Ipswich game, to go back to the game. That 10 minutes we hung on because our fitness didn't drop off like it has done in the past. So if we can maintain those levels, I think we'll be all right. Obviously trying to keep a dampener on expectations. Obviously now I'm thinking we're going to go for the playoffs, but I think realistically, 15th to 10th, I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, so I wanted to touch on this. So at the start of the season, it's a much better league this season. I feel like that was such an easy thing to say. I said it myself. And when I actually looked, I thought, is it? Is it a much better league? And you look at it so far. So Preston favourites for relegation have turned over two of the supposedly best teams in the league, Leicester and Ipswich. Southampton coming down with all these players. Unimpressive against Wrexham. They're all right against Ipswich. Got beat 2-1 at home to Stoke on Saturday. This league, I don't think it's as... I think it's very overrated. I think people just looked at, Wrexham have come up. They're crap, by the way. Birmingham have come up. They're good. The three teams coming down and thought, it's going to be tough. I don't think this is a good league at all this season.
I think it's easy to say that. I'm not being negative, but like just to give you an example, at the weekend I mentioned it earlier. Lad behind me, I didn't know, came off a bench, just Akpom, £20 million, just under £20 million spent on him. And I know it doesn't guarantee success, but it just puts it into perspective. And we're trying to compete against these teams that are spending that amount, and it's in perspective. And it's not just that; it's been years that North End have been up against these teams. And if anything, we're not lucky. We've stayed in our own merit, but we're there because our players have dug in. And we've got experience in this and that. But when every other team's spending the amounts they are, you've got to think, how are we still able to compete? And that's why detail for me is so important.
Yeah, and I agree. Like home form's so important, but he's trying to create this kind of like siege mentality. You can see him. He said it a few times, like we're the under, and players will respond to that. He must be saying to them like, when you go, these lot think they're going to roll over you today. Go and get on them, and that could definitely like work in your favour. Some of the money that's been spent on these players is just ridiculous. It's 11 against 11 in it. And as long as you've got that, it's all about the team. If the team's all working at 100%, it doesn't really matter how many good players they've got. Like obviously, they'll have that bit of quality. They get one chance, they put it in. But if you've got 11 players all working together, all at 100%. You can't kind of stop anyone. It's just keeping it kind of going week in, week out. And there's definitely more of a togetherness this season than last season. And I think that togetherness with confidence, I think will take us a long way this year.
Yeah, it's when you look at it the other day. So I said to my granddad, I said, look at that midfield. I said, you've got Smodics, you've got Jack Clark, you've got Philogene, a championship dream team, yeah? It's all well and good having those players. Can they all play together? No, but I tell you can play together. McCann, Whiteman, they were a great partnership in the middle. Devine in front of them. It's not just let's get the best players and stick them all together, which is what Ipswich, you could see them sort of trying to do it last season where they signed the best players from the Championship 2 years ago. And I'm sorry, Jack Clark I thought it was awful the other day. I thought it was awful. And we've seen what he can do for Sunderland. But yeah, I suppose we get carried away with stuff like that at this point of the season, don't we? Or who's signing who? Who's signing who? Like, Ipswich might spend 20 million. Who's to say he's worth 20 million? I don't know. Anyway, no, but if you're listening, Peter or Craig, go and spend 20 million. Right. Speaking of Tuesday and Saturday, we've got the second round of the Carabao Cup. Wrexham tomorrow and then Portsmouth away on Saturday. We'll do the previews, predictions. We'll start with Wrexham. Is anyone asked? Are we bothered?
No, we're not bothered. I'm going. It's a lads' night out. The fuel's going. So yeah. So I'm going. But look, I think the only thing with a cup that's good is if you go on a bit of a run and get a good away game. I mean, that's how I look at it. A decent away game, bit of money in the bank. Keep a bit of interest.
You summed it up well yourself, Neil. If they got these cup games going on midweek and then league games at the weekend, blah blah, and all of a sudden it's trying to cram them in, and then fitness, and obviously the bigger the team gets, the more your first team you want to play. And then it starts to affect the league, and then so I don't think anybody's that asked, to be honest with you. It's like last season, it was great what we did in the FA Cup. It's good for the town, for the city, sorry, blah, 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 but I don't think anybody's that bothered, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm obviously going to go on. I'm more excited to look at the players than I am for whether we win or not. But for me, League Cup, after last season, we all got excited. Well, some of us got excited. Arsenal at home, sell-out crowd. Heckingbottom stuck the reserve team out, and I thought, right, well, I'm never bothering about the League Cup again then. But yeah, I think tomorrow it's going to be interesting. We got obviously Offia, is it Offia, Afire, whatever it is, Dobbin, Jebison, Walton in net. It'll be good to have a look at. So I want to have a proper look at Offia because I've not seen him play live yet, except when he's come on as sub, which is different because he's just filling in a position. So it'd be good to see him for 90 minutes tomorrow. Predictions for tomorrow. We'll start with Neil, seeing it's your debut on the show.
I think it's going to go penalties. I mean, if we've got Jefferson up front, I don't see us scoring. Just maybe losing a few balls over the top of the town end. But I think it'll go to penalties. I think. Although to be honest, I'd probably fancy myself to score against Wrexham's back line at the moment. But I think it'll be a grinding 0-0, and we'll win on penalties.
0-0. Critch.
I was thinking 1-1. That's it. Just 1-1. I think, they'll probably rotate a few players as well. I don't know what their bench strength is like, but I think 1-1, and then it'll go to penalties, and who knows when it goes to that.
I'll go 2-0 then. Nathan?
Yeah, same as you, mate. 2-0. I was going to say Jefferson hat-trick, but I think that's too it's a bit too optimistic. But no, 2-0. I think after seeing the defence at the weekend, I think we're more solid. So yeah, I can see who's scoring, especially against them. 2-0.
Right. Well, Darren, who can't be here because he's at work, he sent in 2-1 against Wrexham. And then Saturday's trip to Portsmouth, where we look to banish those memories of last season, which was one of the lowest points of the season, that 3-1 defeat. Darren's gone for 3-1 North End at Fratton Park on Saturday. Neil, are you going for a 3-1 win or?
No, I mean, see, this is a game that I really see as a benchmark for us and a big change from last season. And we all know how bad we were away from home last season, especially against those teams that we should, I feel kind of like on our level. I see us at the same kind of like level as Portsmouth. So I'd be happy with a 1-0 there. Get a win and get on a roll away from home. So I'm gonna go for a 1-0 win. But I always think it's a tough place to go there. I think they're a good side, Portsmouth, better than a lot of people think. But I'll take a 1-0 win there.
And Nathan?
Yeah, I think 1-1. I can't see us keeping a clean sheet away from home. 1-1.
Yeah, 1-1 Hecky for me as well. Critch?
Yeah, 1-1. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Great. Look at you. He's on the defensive now because I've taught.
Yeah.
I think he's winning the prediction so far. So now he's been told. Are you not?
Didn't someone say 1-0?
No. Darren said that he didn't.
I said 1-0.
So... No, I mean for the game on that's just gone, the Ipswich one. Oh, did you say 1-0?
Oh no, I didn't. I thought someone else.
2-0. I said 2-0.
Right. That means I'm still winning.
Yeah, so you're still winning. So basically, the forfeit is nobody else has a forfeit, but if Critch doesn't win, he's got to get Reese on the back of his England shirt next summer. So
He's taking
with it on.
He's taking the Heckingbottom approach now. He's in front. He's just sitting back and defending, isn't he?
I was about to say I'll get Heckingbottom 1 on the back. But no, I'm all right. Actually, I'm all right. Come
on, I'm sure we can arrange that.
Yeah, he might not even be North End manager by then. He might have been poached.
In case we forget, can we just do the Reese?
Oh God, here we go.
Update?
Jesus wept.
I thought you were shouting out your bird again.
We need an update.
Yeah, I thought you were.
Do we really? I've said
I've not really paid much attention.
Rich is obsessed with how Reese does.
Please.
He doesn't play for us anymore. I don't care how he does. He did well. He did well when he was here. Well, he did well when he was here. So
yeah, exactly. He was here for 4 seasons, whatever. He had one bad, and then let's have it right. He had a bad injury. He tried to get form back. Millie was in, and he probably felt up against it. And at one point, he could do no wrong. And suddenly, he was making mistakes, and everybody was jumping on his back. Let's have it right. And if you want to believe Rizdale, he told him at the start of the season. He told him at the start of the season he were leaving, and he still offered him a contract. So could he be that bad? So yeah.
No, we would have wanted to keep him realistically.
I don't know. If he scores goals, I don't really care what he does. He can flap his arms all he wants, but if he scores, simple as that for me.
And that was Reese Watch, sponsored by the TalkSport Network. So yeah, tune in next week. But yeah, we've done everything. I think we've done everything. Critch, I know you got to get back to you. Any shout outs? Who is shouting out?
Tapping her wrist. She's been like in the background at times. So shout out again to Hannah. Thank you for your patience, because she's literally stood on her own right now.
She should be thanking us for getting an hour's rest from you.
Yeah.
Well, technically, yeah, she should.
Right, so Neil, thanks for joining us for the first time you've been on. We'll speak to you, everyone, after we're not doing one after the Wrexham game, seeing everyone's just said how not bothered by the game tomorrow they are. So we'll be back next Sunday, because I've decided I'm not bothering going to Fratton Park Saturday. That drive took it out of me last night. So yeah, we'll be back Sunday. Yeah. I don't know what else to say. Critch, send us home. Come on, give us a message. Send us home. Go on, send us home.
You didn't mention your wrestling to us, to everyone.
You must have had me on mute while I was telling the wrestling. It was absolutely fantastic, Critch. As I was driving past Leighton Orient's ground at midnight last night, I was thinking, you know what, it was worth every penny.
Fantastic.
It was brilliant. If anyone wants to catch the replay, it's available on Triller TV, 1999, AEW Forbidden Door. I'm sure you'll all be rushing to your Fire Sticks after this to watch that. And yeah, everyone watching Newcastle, Liverpool tonight.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Come on, Newcastle. But yeah, right. We're wittering on here. Critch, say bye to everyone.
Bye-bye, everyone.
See you later.
See you soon.
So that.